Bill Maher and Van Jones have been in interviews that I've seen in the last few days. And both of them are primarily saying the same thing about this Democrat Party that they've been a member of for all of their lives. They've always embraced the left wing. But I know with Bill Maher, he's always taken the position of, well, I'm an old school liberal who shares some Democrat policy and some Republican policy, depending on what it is. And Van Jones, on the other hand, has blatantly come right out and admitted, I'm a progressive, he says. I'm a progressive. And both of these gentlemen are coming from two different points of view, but they both share the same thing. And that is the complaint about the direction that the Democrat Party has taken just in the last 4 or 5 years. And it's gotten very radical, very radical. And Bill Maher and Van Jones, when it comes to their specific complaints about the party, they're basically exactly the same. They're both saying that, for example, the Democrat Party embraces the idea of defunding police and getting rid of the police department altogether, get rid of prisons, let prisoners go, and the list just goes on and on. The radicals now, they want to basically take the side of Hamas. I mean, these people have gotten so radical and so far left that even the Bill Mahers and the Van Jones can't keep their mouth shut now about it. They have to say, hey. And as a matter of fact, you've probably seen it. It was all over YouTube the last couple of days, a video of Bill Maher. And I believe he was in 2 different interviews. But both interviewers asked him, so are you ready to vote for J.D. Vance if he runs in 2028? And Bill Maher said, if the Democrat Party continues to go down the same road they're going down now, yes, J.D. Vance would get my vote, because we can't have this far left radicalism. So now you get the general idea of what I'm talking about here. The Democrat Party is split in 2. There's one side that are the Bill Mahers and the Van Jones that are saying it's going too far. And then you have the other part of the party, and they're totally embracing all of this total, complete, radical, far left ideas and ideology. Well, the one thing about Van Jones that kind of struck me was in this one interview that he was in, he was saying that he says, I'm a progressive, and the far left radical group that's embracing all of these things that I consider, he says, they're not progressive. They've gone beyond the boundary lines of progressivism. They're no longer progressive, and they're more of just far left radical. And I'm listening to what he's talking about, and I'm agreeing with everything he's saying, that they've gone too far, that they're embracing things that Democrats should not be embracing. Yes, 100% I agree with him, but until he says, well, these people, with what they're doing, whether they realize it or not, they're trying to redefine progressivism. And that's what I'm trying to stop right there. I don't want my progressivism to be redefined and rechanged and all of this stuff. I want it to stay right where it's at. And one place that it is at is not where they are, with this embracing Hamas and wanting to close prisons and all of this crazy stuff that they want. Well, this is where I disagree with Van Jones, because as I've told you before, I've done a lot of studying and researching about progressivism and the progressive movement. And It's got to be the craziest movement that I have ever seen in my life. But it follows a pattern. It's the same pattern. When you got a nation full of people, and they've all gotten disgusted with Democrat, they've gotten disgusted with Republican, they've got disgusted with all of the political parties because they've done something to let their supporters down. All of a sudden, you've got this group of people that are like, well, where are we going to hang our hat now? And if they've never heard of progressivism or never had an idea of it or never nothing, and then all of a sudden it appears, when it appears, it's introduced to these people, and it sounds like the greatest thing that ever was. You know, it comes across as, look, if you embrace this, your life is going to be better, and everything is going to be nice and smooth and wonderful, and everything's going to be all rainbows and unicorns, and it's going to be beautiful and wonderful. And then, of course, a whole bunch of people buy into that. That's what they want to hear. Everybody wants to have happiness and peacefulness and bliss. Everything, you know, perfect in every way. Everybody wants that utopia. So then you start supporting these people and you allow them to get into seats of power. Then, once they get into power, they start doing exactly what's happening today. You have a portion of whatever party that they snake their way into. Once they get the seats of power and they realize they've got it and they're not going to lose it, they can just hang on to it, then all of a sudden the true colors come out. And when that happens, everybody that was supporting them, some of them will stick right with them because they still believe the myth that this progressivism is all of that in a bag of chips. But the majority of them that have a brain will start waking up and saying, well, they fooled me. They'll never admit it to you, because no one would ever admit it to you. Some of them will, but most of them won't because of pride and ego, and I can understand that. Totally understood. Nobody likes to admit that they were fooled, but that's what happens. And with what's going on with today's Democrat Party is exactly what I just described. Exactly. All of these people in that party had progressivism in their heart and soul, and they became part of the Democrat Party. And then, once they became part of the Democrat Party, then they strived for seats of power. Then they got the seats of power, and now look at what's happening. It's ripped the party right in half. And I did some research this morning, and if you go back and you study Woodrow Wilson is, with what was happening in the late 1900s, I think it was 1918, 1919, 1920, somewhere in that area. Look at what was happening, not only to Woodrow Wilson, the president, but his whole presidency, and how he's doing just what these same progressives are doing today. Got very radical, wanted to take positions that most people didn't want, even in his own party. They were ripped in half because of the Ku Klux Klan. He wanted to have, him and the people that supported him, wanted the Ku Klux Klan to have positions of power in government. And the other part of the party was like, no, we don't want that. That's, it's all racism and white supremacy, and we don't want that. But it was these same crazy, wild ideas that you wouldn't think in a million years that anyone with a normal thinking mind would ever embrace such ideas and ideologies. But it happened. The same thing happened with Woodrow Wilson that's happening right now with the Democrat Party. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it was all Obama, or it was all Joe Biden, or it was all any Democrat. It isn't any one Democrat's fault. It's just that they embrace far left progressivism, and they buy into it every single time. I don't know why. I don't know why people don't recognize progressivism for what it really is and reject it. And I've been saying this for 20 years. For 20 years. Get away from it. Stop embracing it. It's nothing but a dead-end road. It starts out, you think it's a beautiful sunny day, and by the time you get to the end of the road, it's a dark, rainy, cold, miserable night. That's the way it always ends. It never fails, and I hope people realize this, and I hope that's what you get from this video right here. Stay away from progressivism, and anyone who is progressive, it's their choice if that's what they want, but they're just going down a dead-end street, in my opinion. They ain't going anywhere, and they're going to wind up in a crash and burn. You might have things the way you want it for a while, but it won't last. It never does. It never does. And this is a topic that I could talk about all day. Yeah, I'm already at my 11 minutes in. I usually try to go 10. But it's definitely something that I can go all day on. But I just wanted to point out the two people, Van Jones and Bill Maher, or Maher, or however you pronounce his name, both of them who were and continue to be hardcore Democrats, and how they are coming out now and saying that the party isn't their party anymore because it's gone so progressive. And when stuff like this happens, for me, it's a red flag. It's straight up, and pay attention. You know, pay attention. This is what's going on. Now look at why it's going on and what you need to do to straighten it out. Now, with the Woodrow Wilson situation, from what I read this morning, when Woodrow Wilson got done for about 12 years, he got done, I believe, in 1920, which is last year, I think, or somewhere in that area. And he gets done, and then you had Republicans for the next 8 years because he had such a bad presidency. He did terrible, awful things. He was probably one in the list of bad presidents and bad policies. And by 1932, it took Franklin Roosevelt to get the Democrat Party back together. Now, that would, in my opinion, that would go down in history as a great, wonderful thing. But the only problem is FDR. For all the good that he did, there was an awful lot of bad that he did too, and the reason that he did bad was because he embraced progressivism. And that's what he did. The Democrat Party has been progressive ever since 1932, when he redefined it, reshaped it, made it look beautiful between him and his friends in the media. That's what happened. But now you're seeing the end result of it. And I don't know where it's going. I wrote a comment on Facebook this morning, and I said, sit back and pop your popcorn, and let's just watch this all unfold, because I have no idea. I can't sit here and say, well, I can see that this is going here or this is going there. Can't do it. I have no idea where this is going to wind up, but one thing is for sure, a party divided is a party that will fall. Simple as that. Okay, I'm going to stop this video now. My goodness, I'm headed for 14 minutes here. I'm going 4 minutes over, but that's okay. I can't help it. This is a good topic to talk about, and I think we should talk about it a lot more, and hopefully we will in future videos. So once again, thank you for tuning in to Politically Incorrect with me, Arno, your host. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and definitely comment. Put your comments down there. Again, if you're for this, against this, whatever you are, it makes no difference to me. I want to hear what you have to say, positive or negative. And today is Tuesday, July 21st, 2026. I hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you in the next video. We be gone.